Hey traders, John Howell here. I want to talk about a few things in this video. I want to give you guys a bit of a market update, but I also want to talk to you about some things that I'm going through myself, and that I know that it's important for me to open up and talk to you about this sort of stuff. So let's get straight into it. Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video, because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty traders, see that trading course on the screen right now? You can actually get free access to that very first link in the description. Go get access to that right now. Now, let's have a quick look at the market updates, guys, and then I want to get into some things. I want to talk about a few things that I think is really important to understand about just life in general, and some things that I'm going through myself as well too, right? Because I think it's really important for us when we're moving forward this way. So the whole thing with the S&P 500 is we're still developing this overall bull flag formation, up and then sideways. It looks like we could be getting ready for a nice big breakout to the upside. So a big breakout to the upside is likely to be coming. And when I say big, I really do mean big, because once it breaks out, guys, we're racing to new time highs. Get ready for all-time new highs, because we're about to start to have a big move from there. Moving on now through to the Dow Jones as well too. Dow Jones is still developing, again, same sort of thing on the Dow Jones. We're developing what? A up and then sideways, right? And then a big breakout to the upside, right? Beautiful big breakout to the upside is coming. Beautiful, right? It's coming. And then guess what, guys? When that happens, it's gonna shock the hell out of everyone, because we're about to start to make a really big move. A really big move is coming. And same for the Nasdaq as well too. Looks like we're starting to slowly we were in a bit of a flag formation, but now it looks like we're starting to slowly drift to the upside. So that's actually what we're going through right now when it comes to that in the markets through there. The GDX and the GDX right now is sort of still squeezing up into this triangle pattern. I believe we need a bit more sideways movement, but when we get a bit more sideways movement from here, like this, we'll probably likely get a bit of a strong breakout and a big strong breakout to the upside. Move over now through to that's the GDXJ. Move over now through to the GDX. And again, same sort of thing. We're squeezing up here. We had a very big move up, so we probably need just a little bit more sideways movement here before we actually start to see a big breakout to the upside from there. Move on now through to the $25. $25. I was looking. How good is that? I was just like looking at silver, but I checked out the price. I'm like looking at the $25 stock. Silver actually had a beautiful breakout already, and now we're just going sideways. But once again, guys, we're developing this sideways movement. So it looks like a lot of the mining stocks are sideways, but it looks like we're about to see a really big breakout on stock market, and also we're going to have a nice reflation move happening in the in all the markets through there. Moving on now through to gold as well too, and gold, very same thing across the markets, right? Is we probably need a bit more time going sideways before we start to do this, and before we start to do something like that. Make sense? So there you go, guys. There's a bit of an update across the markets on what I'm actually seeing across what's actually going on right now across all the markets. Again, stock markets, guys, we are getting ready for a big breakout, and a big move is coming in the stock market, and I believe it's going to be up. Most people are looking for down. I'm looking for up, because that's what the market is still compressing and still telling me. So don't be shocked, guys, if by the end of this year we're actually at all-time new highs. So that's the finish of the technical analysis side of things. Now I'm going to go into some other things that I want to talk to you guys about. If you're just here for the technical analysis, this is the end. If you're here to know a bit more about me and my backstory and some things that I go through personally, then that's what this last little bit on this video is all about. So guys, recently, something that I do myself, and something that I realize within inside myself, is that people come into our lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, right? And sometimes, and it's very, very hard, right? Because sometimes we go through these situations in life where sometimes you might be just going along nice and easy, and suddenly the universe puts a person or a situation into your life that really rattles your cage big time, right? Like sometimes we're like, man, I wish I would, I'm sick of the mundane stuff, or I'm sick of the boring stuff, or I'm sick of life being the way it is. And sometimes the universe is encouraging you to go do something, right? But then suddenly if you don't listen to that universe, like for me, then what's going to happen is the universe is going to put together a certain situation in your life to really force you to grow, right? So sometimes when things are slowly unfolding, that's probably a much better place to be. Or sometimes if you really want the universe to give you a change in life, like I just want to change, I want to change my relationship, I want to change my friendships, I just want to change my finances, right? I just want to change. Well, guess what? Sometimes if you do it, just be careful what you ask for if you really want a big change, because a lot of the times when we get a really big change, like for me personally, I'm going through a tremendous amount of change right now in a positive way, but it's also been painful at the same time because I've had to go through a painful, really, really painful situation with friends, people at the gym, and also relationships all in one go. It really has forced me to go, when I've gone through that really painful situation, it's forced me to grow, right? And that's what the universe does, is that if the universe says, okay, right, you are ready for another level in your life, the universe is going to put certain situations in your life, painful situation, and it's not going to be one, it's going to be a cascading of 2 or 3 things. Have you noticed that? When it rains, it pours. It's like bam, 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 all at once, right? And that's what I went through just a few months ago myself. At the end of last year, the start of this year, things were going on really nicely. Things were really, really good. And then the universe put 3 major things into my life that really rattled my cage painfully. And it really forced me to level up. And what it did, it actually forced me to become even a better trader, even a better business person. And it really has forced me to do that. But also, it's forced me to broaden my horizon about who I am as a person and what I'm willing to put up with, and so on and so forth. Right? And, like, for example, like if someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Right? So I've had friends who I've tried to be friends with for so long, but I realize that they are people that's just not who I am, right? I'm a person that I say if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it, right? But if I'm hanging around people and I'm trying to become such good friends with a person, and I'm using this as an example because it's real, for 3 or 4 years, and they continually say one thing and do the opposite, and you don't know why, that's just who they are. And me coming to the reality of that and having to let go of people that don't seem like they're actually bad people, right? They're actually not bad people. Again, they're not actually bad people, but you have to let them go, right? It's important that we go through that and understanding. Now, this is one of the painful things in life, right? Because one of the painful things in life is that people come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Reason, season, lifetime. And sometimes you think, okay, well, they came into my life for a reason, and then they're off, but then they're back into your life again 6 months later or 12 months later. It's like, it's amazing how it all works. And that's how I've found, right? It's like my ex-girlfriend of 6 years, I didn't see her for like 6 or 12 months, and then we started reconnecting, and it's like, what's happened there? Again, not in a romantic way. But anyway, the purpose of me saying all this, guys, is that sometimes in life, all right, sometimes in life, what I realize is that if you really want change in your life, if you really want to become a much better trader, if you want to start to take on more finances, more success in life, you really want to become, you really want to become a much better trader in life, then what the universe is going to do is, the only way for us to really learn is not through success, right? If we say, okay, I want to make all this money, the universe is not going to plop that in our lap. What's going to end up, what is the universe going to do? What's the big fella upstairs going to do? They're going to say, okay, then, well, in order for you to attain to these results in life, you must start to become someone different. You must start to see life differently, and you must start to, take on life differently as well too. Have more discipline, more habits, more routines. So what the universe is going to do is, okay, right, you want this really big goal? Okay, cool. I'm going to put all this shit in your life right now, what seems like shit. Right? It's like, why is this happening to me for? Right? And that's what I went through, guys, myself in February this year. Right? In February, middle of February this year, towards the end of February this year, I went through something where everything came into cascading effect literally within 1 week. It was like bam, 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 a few things. It was gyms, it was friends, it was relationships, it was bam, 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 right? And I'm like, what the hell is going on? What the hell is going on? Like this, and it hit me so hard. And the universe is like, right, here we go, right? You really want change? And so what the universe has done in my life, and it's painful, guys. I'm not saying it's easy, right? And some of you guys might be going through this with trading or something like that, but it's painful. But the universe is putting this stuff into my life. And again, yes, I can say this, but it still is painful going through it, right? But it's just allowing yourself to go through that. Is that what happens is that when we actually go through this situation, the universe is doing it so we can, because through the painful times, that's when we get the reflection. That's when we start to see where we need to change. This is where you start to say, I've had it. I've had it. I've had it hang around these people that I'm lowering my standards to be around these people because I want to be liked or whatever, right? I'm lowering my standards because this is all I think I can get. Or I'm lowering my standards because this is all I believe I can get. You know, it might be friendships, it might be situations, it might be relationships. You know, we just lower our standards because like, oh, well, I'm a little maggot, and who do I think I am that I can have, you know, I can have the life that I want, you know, the relationship that I want, the friendships that I want. I'm a little maggot, right? Now, by the way, guys, it's not all bad, right? Through the painful situation that I went through, there were so many amazing positive things that actually came out of it, right? There's a lot of cascading effects that actually came out of that whole situation. And I'm so grateful for that. But in the result of the pain, there's been so many blessings that's come out of that as well too. Like really tangible blessings about the connection with like me and my kids, and new friendships come into my life, and so on and so forth. It's been really amazing, right? And I know for myself, it's going to continue to help me grow more and more. But there's going to be a time in life, guys, where if you are really visualizing and you're really saying to the universe, right, I want to start to achieve these higher results in life. I'm sick of being where I am right now. What the universe is going to do, the universe is going to see what's going to put stuff into your life, situations, even people to start to trigger that emotion in you. And then suddenly you're going to go through what seems like a setback, right? What seems like oh my goodness, why is this happening for me? It's like, oh my goodness, you know? And then guess what happens is that on the other side of that, when you start to go through that 2 months, 3 months, 6 months later, you look back and you're like, man, that was so painful in my life, but I'm so glad that I did it, right? Because in those painful times, guess what happens? We're like, man, I've had it. I've had enough. I'm done with this. And we start to change, right? We start to change the way we think about things. We start to have more standards for our lives. We start to grow more. We start to become more, right? And then through those disciplines, new habits, new thinkings, we start to take on a higher level of new relationships, friendships in our lives, you know, and all that sort of stuff for us to continue to grow. Makes sense. And this is something that I'm doing, I've gone through myself as well too, right? It's like I didn't understand why why the universe was actually putting things into my life, and why things happen, but everything was just naturally lining it in. And again, I've been really visualizing, you know, much more higher level of where I'm at right now, and I've been pushing and working really hard on myself. But what the universe has done is the universe has actually go, okay, here we go. Right? Here we go. Here's 2 or 3 major things in your life that's going to really hit you between your eyes. And from that process, on the other side of this, in going through it for the first 2, 3, 4 months, yes, you are going to be, what the hell is going on, right? And you're going to like, what's going on here? But if we can sit back, we can look how we can look at our standards, how we're allowing people into our life. The universe is saying, right, this is now, you're ready for the next level. Right? You're ready for the next level, but in order for us to become into the next level, right, we need to become someone different, right? Because in all, like the same thing for me, I realize that the universe has put this stuff into my life, me as a person, because what's happened is that because through this, I'm now becoming someone different. I'm thinking a lot more clearly, I'm thinking a lot more differently. I'm seeing things a lot more clearly through the pain, right? I'm taking on different beliefs. I'm taking on different standards for my life, even though it's painful. One of those standards is like, why am I putting up with people that are not like me when it comes to values, which is like, if you say you're going to do something, do it, right? That's a value of mine. Like, just be congruent with your word, especially if you men out there, like, it's one of the biggest things you can do for your self-confidence is that if you say you're going to do something, just do it. Even if you don't feel like it, like, I know I said I'm going to do this, let's actually do it, you know? And when you don't, and I do it sometimes every now and then, and when I do it, I'm like, oh man, I feel shit about myself, right? I shouldn't have done that. But so that's where like 99% of the time I'm going to actually stick to my word, because my word is my bond, right? And so the purpose of me saying this to you guys is that if you're going through a hard time right now, if you've been like trying to visualize and writing down your goals and trying to get it much better, but suddenly out of nowhere, the universe just whacks you really hard with a couple of different things all at once and shakes the shit out of you and then sends you on your merry way. Yeah, for a few months, you're gonna be thinking, what the hell just happened? What is going on here? But that's where therapy comes involved. That's where reflection comes involved. That's where understanding everything comes involved. And through that process, we can really start to stand up. And I promise you guys, if you go to therapy, when you have the emotions inside of you, release it. Don't hold on to it, especially us men, right? And if you want to do something like Tony Robbins does. You know, like Tony Robbins used the power move, right? Like, I am the voice. I will lead, not follow. I'm fucking unstoppable. Like this sort of stuff. And really use your gesture and release the energy from your body. I promise you, us men, we actually start to grow a third testicle. And I really do mean that, right? If you do that for 5 minutes, right? You look up to Tony Robbins and you do the power moves and slapping your chest and really just releasing all this emotion, right? Because that's stuck inside of you. What happens? You start to actually increase your level of thinking and how you actually see yourself in this world. And when you actually do that, you start to vibrate at a different level and you start to actually you start to allow the emotions to go through you. And then through that emotions and you just physically going, right, I'm fucking unstoppable, right? You're increasing your level of how you see this world. Instead of you thinking, who am I? I'm a little maggot, you know? And what we do, we put ourselves into a little box, right? We put ourselves into a little box like, it's just me in the little bubble and who do I think I am and blah, 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 blah. Who do I think I am to have all this money and, and all this sort of stuff, right? And then what ends up happening at that time, right, is that the universe does something to you. So then when you go through these processes, because it all starts with the mind, it all starts with what we believe. If we truly believe that we deserve to have this and we truly believe it, we'll actually start to create routines, habits to actually start to attract that into our life, right? And then again, but if the universe really wants that for you and you really want it, if the universe says, okay, then you really want this success in life, okay, be careful what you ask for. Because in order for you to achieve this new result in life, you must become someone different. You must think differently. You must have different disciplines, different habits. That's how you attract that, right? You vibrate at a different level. But the only way for me to do that, the universe says, is I need to put a lot of pain into your life because that's the only way you're going to change right now. If I just plunk a whole bunch of money into your life for an amazing relationship or friendships or certain situations, then that's not, you're not going to grow through that, right? You're not going to become someone different who's going to sustain that and continue moving forward. So the universe says, right, here we go. I'm going to put a whole bunch of shit into your life. And from that growing process, on the other side, 2, 3, 4, 6 months, 12 months later, you look back and say, man, that page, that time at that time was so powerful as what I'm going through right now. It was so powerful and painful at the same time that I'm so glad that I went through it. Because in this moment, this too shall pass. And when it does pass and we continue to move forward and we continue stepping up, you become someone different because through the pain, through challenges, we become someone different. We start to see things differently. And from that, you actually start to attract even higher level of relationships, friendships, success, even your level of standard in your trading starts to increase as well.